Hello, my name is Darren Thomas. I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. In this video, we're going to continue looking at sequences, but we're going to be taking a look at alternating sequences when they are explained or defined with an explicit formula. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So when we're talking about alternating sequence, what is happening is that the terms are going back and forth between positive and negative or negative and positive as you go through the sequence. So it could go either way. So let me give you an example here. It could be positive, negative, positive, negative, or it could be negative, positive, etc. You get the idea. And so when this is happening, normally, probably almost always, you have some sort of an exponent involved. And so as you already know that if you take a number, let's say you have a number like, -2, which is what we're going to be using. If you raise that to an odd, so an odd power, so 1, 3, or 5, you guys know that this is going to result in a negative number. And then, of course, if you take a base that is negative and you raise it to an even power, 2, 4, or 6, is going to result in a positive number. These are things that you already know from earlier things in mathematics. And so, excuse me, what we're going to see here is how this can play out when you are dealing with a sequence. So I'm going to give you an example and kind of walk you through it, and that'll pretty much be the heart of the video today. So here's the sequence that we're going to be working with. So we're going to have A, N, this is just setting up the sequence here, and we have 4 times N over -2 to the nth power. Now when I was talking about exponents, keep in mind that I think I made a mistake a minute ago. It's not the exponent that is negative or not. It's the base number. In other words, what we have here is the base number of 2 is negative. And so as the exponent goes between odd and even, this will rotate back and forth between positive, negative, positive, etc. I hope that makes more sense now. So what we're going to do now is that we're just going to map this out, the long way to just kind of show you what's going on here. So I'm going to start with N equals 1. And so what I get here is I get, like my first term is, A1 here, obviously. And that's going to equal 4 times 1 over -2 to the first power. And this is going to be very, very simple. It's going to be -2 because, again, my exponent was odd. And so there's not a whole lot to explain there. So let's do the next one. We'll do N2 equals 2. And so now I got the second term here. And let's see here. We have 4 now times 2. All this over -2 to the second power. And so what do we get here? First, we get 8 over 4. And then that simplifies to 2. So you can see here already we've gone from negative to positive. And we can keep going. I think you're starting to get the idea here. Let's do N equals 3. And so now my term is A3. And so I got 4 times 3. And then I got -2 to the third power. So at first I get 12 over -8. I need more space. So I get 12 over -8 like that. And so I end up with the final answer of -3 over 2. And so just do one more over here. Let's do N equals 4. And so now we have A4 is going to equal 4 times 4. And then we're going to have -2 to the fourth power. I'm running out of space here. And so essentially what's going to happen here is I'm going to have 16 over 16, which is going to basically equal 1. So you can see here, I go negative, positive, just like that. And that's kind of how this particular alternating sequence works. Now, again, this is an explicit sequence because the nth term is defined by the position. In other words, N1 is going to be the first term, N2 is going to be the second term, etc. That's what makes it explicit. And so this is pretty much how an alternating sequence formula works. Now sometimes they like to graph these things, and so if we were to graph it, again, this is not going to be a perfect graph, but I just want to give you an idea. It would kind of be something like this and something like that. If you draw the dots, if you draw lines like that, that's kind of what it will look like. You can check and verify that on your own time. Now, what I want to do now is I just want to try to wrap up what we talked about and then conclude this video. So in this video, short, simple video, we talked about alternating sequences. And what's happening with the alternating sequence is that you go from negative to positive or positive to negative when you are dealing with the sequence. And so normally what's happening is that you have some sort of a base number that is, negative, and then you have an exponent or the nth term that starts to affect it, whether the nth term is positive or negative. This is one common way to see this. So I hope that this video made sense and that you were able to understand what we were talking about. My name is Darren Thomas. I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. Take care.